Hey dolls, it's me, JB. It is Friday and time for some girl chat. This is our first girl chat of the new year. I am excited. I just wish I was completely over my allergies. I am getting better. I actually put on a little bit of makeup today, but my eyes, when I have problems with allergies, you have them like they get real weepy, and so the point of wearing anything around my eyes just drives me nuts. So, anyway, Happy New Year. I hope you all had a great one and that you're um, working towards your goals and getting everything done. I don't like New Year's resolutions because, you like make a resolution and you like keep it for like 2 days and it's bad. And then, actually, I feel like New Year's Day, like the first day, should not be the first day. It should really be the second because no one does anything they're supposed to do on that day. Like, even like the goals that I had to start the 1st of January, like I was really thinking later, like that wasn't realistic because I didn't get anything done that day besides just sit around and like stare at the ceiling because no one wants to do anything that day because you have the day off. So we should officially like start all that on January 2nd. Like that's the new rule. I'm putting it in stone. It is going to be what it's going to be. So since I have been down with allergies after Christmas when I got back, I did not leave my apartment for like 4 days because I just felt like crap. I will say, okay, I did leave my apartment, but like I left my apartment to go to like Chick-fil-A to get breakfast, and that was about it. That was the only thing that I really wanted to eat was Chick-fil-A's breakfast, mainly just their biscuits because oh my gosh, those biscuits. But anyway, while I was sitting around the house, not accomplishing a single solitary thing except for sleeping and eating buttered biscuits from Chick fil A, I started to watch movies. So, my first day of this, and I went out to Chick fil A. There's a Red Box that's not too far, so I picked up a couple of movies from Red Box. And they both, well, one of them was good, but then the other one like just seriously sucked. So I took those back and I came back and I was like, I'll just Netflix it. So then I started like reading like the descriptions of movies that sounded good. And it's like I picked dud after dud. And so then it just like became a game of finding movies that sounded good but just seriously sucked. So I thought, first day of Girl Chat, I am going to share these movies that sounded good by like reading the description and even like by the people that are in them, but the movies like seriously sucked. So actually, there was a couple of them that were good, and I will mention that. But let's start with the sucky ones because that's so much more fun. Q, which is a movie that I saw, and don't mind me, I have to look down to read the descriptions because they sounded good. So Cube, and it's only available until the 10th of January. So if you really want to watch a sucky movie that makes you feel like it's good, this is a good one. So clueless as to how they got there and why they are chosen, 6 people are caught in a maze of interlocking cubes with no apparent way out. So this intrigued me because when it started, it was like Saw. And if you know me, like I like horror type movies. And so like it started out and it was so Saw-ish. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be so good. And the thing is that the movie kept like drawing me in. Like the actors weren't all that great, but just there was a lot in the movie and it just kept drawing me in and I was just like drawn in by this whole thing. And then as the movie went on, the fact that the actors weren't that good started to be more and more noticeable. And then I could slowly start to tell, like, okay, the ending of this movie is going to suck. And that it did. It was the most suckiest movie. And, like, I won't, if you want to see it, and you want to see a movie that, like, draws you in, and then you're just very disappointed at the end, I do highly recommend this sucky movie. But it's really neat because they're in these cubes and then they go into another cubes and some of the cubes are booby trapped and then some of them are safe. And so it gets to the point and I'm like a stalker, so I'm like, how are you all connected? Like, what do you know? Like, talk to each other. And so it gets you through like all this like like I'm yelling at them like, what do you know about each other? Like, there has to be a way to know, like, what's what. And so you get to the very end and you're just like, seriously? Seriously? Like, it had so much potential. I think if someone else would have written the script, like, it could have been, like, a great movie. But it just seriously sucked. But it was a okay sucky movie because it did take me on an emotional roller coaster ride. It just wasn't just completely sucky. So, you know, but it still sucked. So the next one, and I even hate putting this one on the list because it was based on a true story, but it was The Girl in the Box, and it was the story of this girl. I guess they kidnapped a couple of girls that were kidnapped, and he would put a box over their head and would torture her. And he was married, and I think his wife, he had also did the same thing too. And it just goes over the story, and I think they held her captive for like 20 years. I was very intrigued of the story because it was based on a true story. But it just, like, I had a hard time emotionally, like, attaching to it. It just didn't, it didn't play like a story that was based off of a true life story. It just was hard to emotionally attach to. So it wasn't all that great. It did make me go, oh, like, is this really, like, really what happened? Like, who told this story? Like, is this from the mouth of the person that was held hostage or not? Because I had a hard time just connecting to it. I guess maybe because a lot of the focus was not on her as much as it was on the other two. And so I didn't connect with them. I wanted to more connect with what she was going through. So I don't know. I just felt like it should have just, I don't know, maybe portrayed it better. Like, there's some stories that you see that are based on a true story, and I love anything based on a true story that, like, it just kind of grabs you and, like, takes you into that world. And you've already got, like, 4 stars with me already if you're based on a true story. But this one, for me, fell flat. The next one is The Drowning. Child psychiatrist Tom testimony helped convict a boy of murder. Years later, their paths crossed again, raising uncomfortable questions. So the guy in it that played the kid was in a television show that I watched that I think it ended up going off the air, but I was really intrigued by him. So this, like, kind of drew me in because I was like, oh, he was such a great, like, creepy actor, and so I would really want to watch it. Oh my gosh, it so seriously sucked. I think that was the one that I actually picked up from the Red Box, and I was just like, seriously? It sucked so bad that, like, the first time I watched it, I fell asleep. And then I woke up and I thought, oh, just allergy meds. So I tried to watch it again and fell asleep again. I finally got through it, but it took 3 tries. So I don't think it was the allergy meds. I think it was just seriously a sucky movie. So, yeah. Yeah. That's not even a sucky movie that I would even, like, try to see type of sucky. It was just sucky. So then the next one is 13 cameras. So young parents-to-be move into a suburban rental house, unaware that someone is secretly watching their every move via hidden cameras. Okay, so y'all, tell y'all a secret. Not really a secret if you know me at all. So, like, this is my biggest fear. I do not allow maintenance people to come into my place unsupervised or anything like this, because this right here is, like, happens a lot. And even in this movie, it goes through, like, how often this happens. I don't think this was based on a true story, but this was so extremely weird and creepy. And what I hated about it was the most was that the guy that rented it to them was already creepy, and they didn't, like, go, hey, this is a creepy guy, I'm not gonna rent from him. I'm gonna excuse it because it was a couple, and so the guy is probably like, who cares? And I think that's pretty much what he said in the movie. But she was totally creeped out. I'm sorry. If my creep is heightened, if I'm around either a maintenance person or if I'm viewing an apartment and I get any type of creepy vibes, I am done. Nope, it's not worth it. That is the place where you live. You go to the bathroom, you take showers, you walk around the house naked. Like, nope, no weirdy vibes. And this one was seriously sucky. It was creepy sucky. So would I suggest that you watch it for a creepy sucky? You got an extra. I think it's only like a minute and yeah, it's only a minute, an hour and 30 minutes. So if you got an hour and 30 minutes of just want to check out time, it will make you go, wow. The ending probably was the best part of the whole movie, but it still was sucky. Seriously sucky and creepy. Seriously creepy. Yeah. Watch it. Yeah, watch it. Next movie, The Dinner. So I was actually reading this book. The book was suggested to me to read on my suggestions. And so I was reading the book, and then I'm strolling movies on Netflix. And by this time, I think this is actually the order that I actually watched this movie in. So it's like my fourth or fifth sucky movie. So so I watched it, and I actually stopped reading the book after I watched it because I was like, But after doing a little bit of research, so it's about these two brothers. They go to dinner with their wives to talk about their children and something their children did. The story was just so unrelatable. It was so you couldn't sympathize with anybody whatsoever in the movie to like kind of be like to understand. Well, I guess there was one person that you sympathized with in the movie, but besides that, there was no connection. It was just so it just was so unrealistic. It was just so like, are you serious? And then the ending was just ridiculously horrible. So I had looked up some stuff on this, and actually the author of the book, and I don't know how true this is, because, it's the internet, so only, some of it is true. The author of the book didn't actually even like it. And apparently this was the third rendition, and he didn't like it. And from what I read, it said that he didn't stay for the after party after the premiere viewing of it because he didn't like it. I don't think it went into what he didn't like about it, but after watching it, I don't see there's anything to like about it. Like, I just could not with the whole movie. Like, it's not even one that I would say if you got, and it was actually 2 hours long. And so it was 2 hours of, oh my gosh. And if I hadn't been sick, I would have been mad about the time of my life that I wasted. But I wasn't doing anything anyway, so, but still, seriously sucky movie. Seriously sucky. The movie that I watched was The Den. While investigating webcam chat habits. Yeah, that. A young woman witnessed a gruesome murder online. Now she and those she loves are being pursued by the killer. Now, this one was only an hour and 16 minutes. This one is another one that I felt like had so much potential. But then there was some parts of it where that just, to me, just seemed very, very unrealistic. The first one is that, and I guess if it was her work, I guess maybe it is a little bit more realistic, but like she had her webcam up and her like computer up all the time. And we are all very, very much aware of the fact that people can, hack into your systems and go through your webcams. My webcam on my laptop is covered up. And so it's just one of those things where I don't uncover it unless I need it, because you hear all these stories of people hacking and people who are smarter than me. And so I just didn't understand how she could be that silly to not safeguard herself a little bit more. Also, the whole movie was through a lens, some type of lens, whether it was from the computer, from her phone, from someone else's phone. It was all through a lens. So that kind of gave me a little bit of a headache, that whole viewpoint of it. And so I didn't really like that. It sounded like it could have been something great, and it just fell short. So the ending was really, really messed up, but it is only an hour and 15 minutes. So if you can stand that whole viewing through the webcam and viewing through you know, not seeing something just straight through a camera, then you might like it. But it is a little, it is a little, at times you're like, okay, like I can't handle this. At least I couldn't, but I was also on allergy meds, like a lot of them, so maybe that was part of it too. But it is one that, like, the ending was so messed up that I would say watch it just for the ending, because the ending was seriously messed up. Like, seriously. You're just at the end and you're like, really? Like, that's so messed up. Like, y'all have some, like, issues, and, like, it was seriously messed up. So, in this going through and finding all these bad movies, there were some that were actually kind of good that I wasn't expecting to be good. Some of these movies, one of them I actually watched yesterday, and then these other ones were ones that, as I'm watching these movies, Netflix is suggesting movies. Some of these popped up that I had seen that actually were actually good, and I wanted to put a couple of good ones, so I had to add in some good ones that I saw that you may look at first glance and be like, that can't be a good movie, but it actually was. So the first one that I watched, so the one that I watched during this time that was actually good was Broiler. It's actually only an hour and 30 minutes. Desperate to save his ailing mother, a volatile young man takes a school bus hostage and threatens to harm the children aboard. So by this time, Netflix started suggesting movies. This was one that popped up, and so I thought, oh, it must be horrible too, because it started popping up after I was watching all of these horrible movies. This is actually one of the last ones that I watched, and it was actually really pretty good. As you're starting to watch it, you're like, okay, this is not going to be good. But the ending was so, I don't want to call it brilliant, but it was so clever that I just loved it. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to excuse some of the bad acting and all that stuff because the ending was so clever. So I really, really actually did like that because the ending was very, very clever. So one that also popped up that I had actually seen before, and I was like, why is it popping up after all of these bad movies? Because I actually really did like it, was Would You Rather? In need of cash to help her sick brother, a young woman agrees to take part in a lethal winner-takes-all parlor game hosted by a sadistic millionaire. So, sorry, I'm starting to feel the drain. So I had already seen this, and when it popped up, I was like, it should not be popping up with this movies. This movie was actually good. I actually liked it. There is quite a bit of blood. So if you don't like that type of stuff, you will not like this type of movie. I think I liked this movie not because of the fact of like what was going on and people were bleeding, but more of the fact that it really lends to human nature of someone. And if you are a truly good person, what would you do? How far would you go? Like, what are you willing to do to win something or get something or to survive? And so I like anything that puts people against odds of their human nature. So this was a really, really good one for me. I really, really enjoyed it. So one other one that popped up that I was like, no, this is actually a good movie. Why did this pop up after I'm watching all these bad movies? Was Exam. And I actually did like this movie. It's an hour and 43 minutes long. 8 applicants, try to see it. 8 applicants being tested for a plum job with a bioenergy firm try to stay a jump ahead in a competition. So this one was like, it was one of those movies that you start watching and you're not sure like if it's going to be a good one or not. But I love any type of like low budget film, anything that's like independent, I love. And this gave me that vibe. And so this movie is just one of those that I feel like either you're going to like it or you're going to hate it. There's not much else that I can tell you about it without giving it away. But I really enjoyed it. I also enjoyed that after it popped up after it popped up that day, I was looking at it again. I started watching it because I was like, oh, that was good. there is the lady that plays Jadis from The Walking Dead was in it, and I didn't know that before because, of course, when I first saw it, she hadn't been in The Walking Dead. So then I got even more excited. I was like, that's Jadis from The Walking Dead. Like, what is she doing? And she's talking real English, and if you watch The Walking Dead, you'll understand that. But anyway, so that is actually one that I actually did like, and I thought was actually really, really good. So, some battery died, so I plugged them up and had lunch and thought I'd come back to say goodbye. So, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe. My videos will be coming out this year. We are working on Tuesdays and Fridays. And so Girl Chat normally is going to be always on Friday, and then any type of beauty or inspire videos will be on Tuesdays. So, if you like that kind of stuff, make sure you press the notification button so that you can get all of the videos and everything that is going on. And so I hope you enjoyed it. And if you enjoy like randomness like this, let me know, because I have a lot of randomness that I can share with the world. So anyway, until next time, stay gorgeous.